Hi there, fellow YouTube crocheters. My name is Catalina, and today I am going to show you how to work a flower. This is a pretty basic flower and very easy to make and to complete it. You need to know how to slip stitch, how to chain, how to work a single and a double crochet stitch. And these flowers, I think, they are perfect to be attached on all sorts of projects like scarves, bags, and you can actually continue working a granny square and make corners and have the flower as a center piece for a granny square. First of all, these are the materials I'm going to use for this tutorial. This is the information on my yarn, in case you're interested. And this is the crochet hook I'm going to use today. A 5mm European size crochet hook. To begin with, chain 3. So make a slip knot, attach it to your crochet hook and work 3 chains. 1, 2, 3. And join with the beginning chain under the top loop, just like that, and slip stitch to form a ring. Now chain 1 and work 1 single crochet in the ring. And now chain 2. 1, 2. And we are going to do that 8 times to have 8 chain 2 spaces. So again, single crochet in the same ring, chain 2. So that's the second one. Single crochet, chain 2. That's the third chain 2. Single crochet, chain 2, which is the fourth chain 2. Single crochet, chain 2, and 5 chain 2 spaces so far. Single crochet, chain 2, which is the 6th, single crochet and chain 2 and 7, single crochet and chain 2. Just to be on the safe side, let's count them. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and this is the 8th. And I have worked this round across the yarn tail to conceal it, so I don't have to sew it later. And now, to finish off round 1, we have to slip stitch in the first single crochet. So that was the chain 1, and this is the single crochet. So insert your hook under the top 2 loops and slip stitch. And this completes the first round for the flower and the base for the petals on round 2. As I said before, on second row now we are going to work a round of petals, and they are small petals. And to work our petals, chain 1, and now this is the first chain 2 space. slip stitch in that chain 2 space, and in the same chain 2 space work 1 single crochet. So insert your hook and wrap the yarn over and pull through both 2 loops. And now work 2 double crochets in the same chain 2 space. Let me zoom out so you have a clearer image of what's going on. So that was 1 double crochet, 2. Work 1 single crochet in the same chain 2 space, and then slip stitch in the same chain 2 space. And now do that again in the next chain 2 space. So slip stitch, work 1 single crochet, 2 double crochets in the same chain 2 space, 1, 2, 1 single crochet in the same chain 2 space, and finish the second petal by slip stitching in the same chain 2 space. And I'm going to finish 5 more petals off camera, so you can continue working the same thing in the next 5 petals, and I'm leaving the last petal when I'm going to return to do it again on camera. So you can pause the video if you want and continue working 1 slip stitch, 1 single crochet, 2 double crochet, 1 single crochet and 1 slip stitch in every chain 2 space across the round, and see you guys in just a minute. So I have done 5 more petals off camera. I have 7 here, and I hope you have completed them too. And now I have 1 last chain 2 space right here, and I'm going to do the same thing. So slip stitch, 1 single crochet, 2 double crochets, 1 single crochet, and then slip stitching. And to finish off the second round and the first round of petals, we have to slip stitch in the first chain 1 when we started this round. And I hope you remember the chain 1, and that's the one right there. That is the one. That's the slip stitch and then the single crochet. So insert your hook under the 2 loops on top, pull the yarn through and through, and this completes second round. And we have just made a very small flower. And now to continue to round 3, which is going to be the foundation for the next petals on round 4, chain 3. So 1, 2 and 3, and we are going to work behind each petal, and we are going to slip stitch in the second slip stitch, or the first slip stitch of the next petal, if you remember it. So this is the last slip stitch of the first petal, and that tiny chain right there, tiny space, that's the first slip stitch of the second petal. So insert your hook under that chain and just try to work behind the petal. If you can't really work behind the petal, you can work in front of it and just push the petal in front of the chain 3. So slip stitch in that chain. The petal is in front and the chain 3 is behind. And now chain 3 again, 1, 2, 3, working behind the petal, slip stitch in the second slip stitch, which is that one, or the first slip stitch of the next petal. Just like that. Now chain 3 again, and we are going to have 8 chain 3 spaces on round 3. Let me see if I inserted my hook in the right stitch. That's the one. So the petal is behind, so I'm just going to push it in front, and do that for the next 4 petals, and I'm going to meet you guys here for the last chain 3 space on the last petal. So chain 3 and then slip stitch in the first slip stitch of the next petal, and I'll see you guys in just a second, and you can pause the video if you want, and we'll catch up in a second. So I am right here behind my last petal, and I'm going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and this chain 3 is going to be slip stitched in the first chain at the base of the first chain 3, and as you can see, this is the one that's sticking out the most. So insert your hook under the top loops, and pull the yarn through and slip stitch. And all the chain 3 spaces are behind each petal, and there are 8 chain 3 spaces. And now we are going to work the petals on round 4. We are working in rounds and not rows really. To start on round 4, chain 1, and now in the first chain 3 space, slip stitch, and then work 1 single crochet in the same chain 3 space, and then work 4 double crochets in the same chain 3 space. This is going to give us bigger petals on this round. So that was 2, 3, and 4. Now work 1 single crochet in the same chain 3 space and slip stitch, and move on to the next chain 3 space and do the same thing. So slip stitch, 1 single crochet, 4 double crochet stitches, 1, 2, 3, and 4, 1 single crochet and slip stitch. and do the same thing in the next 5 chain 3 spaces, and I'm going to do that off camera, and I'll meet you guys at the last chain 3 space. So you can pause the video again if you want, and I'll see you guys in just a second. So slip stitch, 1 single crochet, 4 double crochet stitches, 1 single crochet and 1 slip stitch in each of these chain 3 spaces across round 4, and I'll see you guys in a second. So I have completed 7 petals on round 4, and I have 1 more chain 3 space in which I'm going to work my last petal. So slip stitch in that chain 3, work 1 single crochet, 4 double crochets in the same chain 3 space, 1, 2, 3, and 4, 1 single crochet, and then slip stitch in the same chain space. And now to finish off round 4, we have to slip stitch in the chain 1 at the beginning of this round. So I'm not sure if you can see it, but that is the chain I'm talking about. That's the chain 1. Insert your hook under the top loops, wrap the yarn over and pull through. And pull through. And we have completed 4 rounds of a pretty little flower. And we have more two more rounds to make a foundation round and a next round of petals, which is going to be the biggest, which is going to give us the biggest petals for this flower. And I'm going to let you guys see how it is going to look. That's the one right there. So let's start working on round 5. Chain 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and again working behind petals, slip stitch in the first slip stitch of the second petal. So that is the first chain or slip stitch. I'm sorry. Insert your hook under, wrap the yarn over and pull through and through. I know it might be challenging to work behind the petals, so you can always work in front of these petals and just push the chain behind the petals after you're finished. 1, 2, 3, 4, whichever suits you better. So what I'm saying is skip the next petal. That tiny chain right there is the first slip stitch for the second petal. So insert your hook under it and then slip stitch in that chain. So see, the chain 4 is in front of the petal, but you can always move it behind it afterwards. So again, chain 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and slip stitch in the first slip stitch of the next petal. And this is going to give us 8 chain 4 spaces on round 5. I'm going to continue working the next 4. I've done 3 so far, so I'm going to work my next 4 chain 4 spaces off camera, and I will meet you guys right here at the last petal. So you can again pause the video if you want, and I'll see you guys in just a minute. So I have completed 7 chain 4 spaces, and they are all behind my petals, and I'm finishing off the last chain 4 space. 1, 2, 3 and 4, and working behind the petal. I'm going to slip stitch this chain 4 space at the base of the first chain 4 space at the beginning of round 5. So insert your hook in that chain at the base and slip stitch. And now we have 8 chain 4 spaces, and they count as the foundation or the base, let's say, for the last round of petals. And let's do just that. Let's work the petals now. So chain 1, if you wish to chain that one a little more loosely. I'm always having trouble slip stitching in that chain 1, so just work it a little bit loosely. And now slip stitch in the next chain 4 space, work 1 single crochet in the same chain 4 space, and then work 5 double crochets this time so we can have bigger petals. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, single crochet in the same chain 4 space, and slip stitch in the same chain 4 space. And in the next chain 4 space do the same thing as here. So slip stitch, 1 single crochet, 5 double crochets in the same chain 4 space, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Now work 1 single crochet in the same chain 4 space and slip stitch, and continue doing the same thing across this round 5 more times to have 7 petals. And I'm going to see you guys right here at the last chain 4 space to finish off this pretty little flower. So you can pause this video, and I'm going to see you guys in just a minute. So continue working the same thing across this round. So I have completed 7 petals so far, and here is the last chain 4 space, and I'm going to do the same thing again. So slip stitch, and this is just for practice only, single crochet, 5 double crochets in the same chain 4, 2, let me focus just a little bit better, okay, I think that's better, 2, 3, 4 and 5. And now single crochet, sorry, in the same chain 4 space and slip stitch. And to finish the flower, we are going to slip stitch in the first chain 1. And I've done it just a little bit looser this time, so that's the one. And now, as you can see, it is just a little bit easier for me to insert the hook there and slip stitch to finish off round 6. And that gives us a little pretty flower. And now, to finish off, grab a scissor and just cut the yarn somewhere where you want. I'll just do it there. And fasten off. So wrap the yarn over your hook, pull through and secure. This is how the flower looks. It's a very simple flower, I think, and it could be a great motif on granny squares, I think. But I'm not just going to leave this tail right there, so I want to hide it across my project. So I'm going to insert my hook under the top loop of the next stitch and pull the yarn through, and then in the next stitch and pull the yarn through again, and again. I have been talking about this flower being the center of a granny square, and I think I'm going to make a second tutorial on how to continue this flower to complete a granny square. And I think this could be a very interesting alternative to the traditional granny squares while you're making afghans and blankets and stuff like that. And so again, pull through, and maybe one more time to secure it even better. So just insert your hook under the top loop and pull the yarn through. And there is just a little bit left, and I'm just going to cut it. And as you can see, it doesn't even show. And I'm going to do the same thing with this little bit right there, since it is pretty well secured. And we have just learned how to make a pretty little flower. Thank you guys for watching my video. I hope it was helpful, and if there was something that you didn't understand or went by too fast or too slow or something like that, please let me know so I can correct the mistakes I'm doing. Thank you for watching, and I'm going to see you guys next time for another tutorial. Happy crocheting! Bye! Bye bye!